Hello, welcome to WEBfactory's i4SCADA Studio tutorial series. In this part of the series, we're diving deep into configuring industry-standard connectors inside i4SCADA Studio, and today we're gonna talk about the SIMATIC Connector. This connector is most commonly used to connect two types of devices, the S7 TCP/IP and the S7 TCP/IP TIA. We'll go through the configuration of the SIMATIC connector for both of these devices. As usual, we'll start in i4SCADA Studio by adding the SIMATIC connector to our server. One particularity of the SIMATIC connector is its configuration tool, called Icon AG Link version 4. It can be accessed from the connector's contextual menu and allows us to configure the device and the PLC we want to connect to. We're gonna start with the S7 TCP/IP device, which we will allocate to the device slot 0. On the main panel, we'll leave the TCP/IP settings as default and we'll open the Connections tab. Here we must configure the connection to the PLC associated with our S7 device. We'll assign a PLC number, enter the PLC IP address and select the S7 device model we are using. Once the settings are applied, we need to use another particular property of the SIMATIC connector, the XML Configuration Generation. This action allows us to save the settings we did as an XML configuration that the connector can load and read. Now we can create our i4SCADA signals. We'll first add a signal group, and in this signal group we'll create a new signal using the option provided by the contextual menu. This new signal is a bare-bones i4SCADA signal, and in order to connect it to our S7 device, we need to use a specific connector address convention that the SIMATIC connector can understand. I'll first use the description field to explain the connector address in a readable way. This is just to make it clear for you guys watching the video. It's really not needed in a production environment, though it can be a good practice. This address must specify the S7 device number, the PLC number and the data type of the signal. The device number and the PLC numbers are separated by a dot, while the PLC number and the data type are separated by either a backslash or a forward slash. You can check out the data types supported by the SIMATIC connector and more in-depth configuration options at the link in the video description. Once the connector address is configured, the new i4SCADA signal is ready to be used in Studio. Now let's start again the SIMATIC configuration, this time using the S7 TCP/IP TIA device. Let's open again the configuration tool and select the device 1 slot this time, to which we will assign the S7 TCP/IP TIA device. We'll leave the TCP TIA settings as default and we'll open the Connections tab. Here I'm gonna set the PLC number, the device IP address, and I'll set the type to Auto Detect. Next, I'm gonna use the contextual menu to open the TIA browse settings. In this dialog, we can see the device we've configured just before. For this demonstration, I'll set the browse type property to PLC project, and I'm gonna load an S7 1200 project that I already have on my machine. This is just like we were connecting to a configured and working S7 device. Now we can use the Browse TIA device option from the connector's contextual menu. Here we can see the device structure that we've defined, which is connected to our S7 1200 project, thus providing us with real SIMATIC blocks and tags. Just like with the other connectors, we're gonna select the items that we want to import as signals in Studio, select or create a destination signal group and import them. This time we don't need any configuration at the signal level in Studio, since the signals are coming from a configured S7 device. We can start using them right away in i4SCADA and create visualization projects leveraging the power of the SIMATIC connector. Now it's time to wrap up this video. I'll meet you next time as we'll keep exploring the numerous possibilities provided by WEBfactory's i4SCADA.